It may be getting a reputation of being a little project with a big heart. But don't be fooled, there is far more to calls for the calves. And in this video, I'm going to give you a little glimpse of what's coming down the line, so don't miss it. Let's go. Oh, welcome my dear friend, come on in. It's been a while. I haven't made many videos recently. Nothing serious to worry about, just a little bit of a break because sometimes video making is difficult. But anyway, that's a whole different story that we don't need to get into now. But I'm back and talking about one of my very favorite projects, calls for the calves, which if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I adore. I will get into that in just a second, but before we do, I will say, as I always do, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, so please do your own research. So, what is going on in the world of calls for the calves? Well, there's a lot, let me tell you. And the first thing I want to talk about, but it's not the only thing, the first thing I want to talk about is the huge announcement that was made by Brian Legend just a couple of days ago across the weekend. So unless you have been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you will know something about the upcoming launch of Safuu Go. Now, you may be interested in that or you may not. But if you're a calls for the calves holder, you should be very interested now because, of course, Brian just a couple of days ago announced that he will be partnering with a number of tokens and forming liquidity pairs between Safuu Go and those tokens. And of course, one of those tokens is going to be calls for the calves, which is very exciting. But what on earth does that mean for our beloved calf token? Well, it actually means various things. And the first thing I really want to touch on quickly is the idea of the opportunity of arbitrage. I know that word has been bounded about for a good few days and even weeks now, but what on earth does it even mean? Well, let's start with a really simple definition. So, arbitrage is the method of buying something in one place and selling it in another place at the same time in order to make a profit from the difference in price in the two places. Okay, so if you're in Calf Discord, you will know that Keith, I think it was yesterday, did put an announcement out, or at least a post in Discord, explaining what this means for calf. But what I'm going to do now is just kind of put some really simple illustrations to that to hopefully help you to understand what can feel like a really complex concept, but actually is, I think, quite simple. So let's have a quick look. So there is currently one liquidity pool for the calf token, and that is a pairing with BNB. We know that Safuu Go is currently scheduled to launch on the 15th of May. And soon after that, so not at launch, but soon after, and I think Brian has now clarified that it's going to be within 48 to 72 hours after that launch, a liquidity pair will be formed by Brian between calf and Safuu Go. This means that you will be able to purchase Safuu Go with calf and vice versa. Now, there's something very important here about the size of these two different pools, and you'll notice the initial pool between calf and BNB is much larger than the new pool that will be formed between calf and Safuu Go. Brian has said he will be setting the liquidity at 5,000 in value. So that will mean he will purchase $5,000 worth of Safuu Go and calf, and that will set up the liquidity pool, which is much smaller than the current and original pool. What does this mean? Well, it means really importantly that there is going to be huge volatility in this liquidity pool. A very small or thin liquidity pool means buys and sells really sets that volatility going. So let's just think about how this might look in terms of the price of calf. Now, just to say that the prices I'm going to mention now are completely made up, they're random. I'm just using them to illustrate how arbitrage might work. So let's say that at the launch of Safuu Go, the current price of Calf in the BNB liquidity pool is 20 cents. When the liquidity pool is formed with Safuu Go, it's going to be hugely volatile. So that might mean the price of Calf could vary anything between, let's say, 15 cent and 40 cent. Again, just illustrations. But what does that mean? Well, it means that when the price of Calf in the new liquidity pool is very high, you could buy Calf from the original liquidity pool at a very low 20 cent and sell it into the new liquidity pool for 40 cents and make that profit. And that's the arbitrage opportunity. But it also works the other way around. So when the price of Calf might really dip in the new liquidity pool, you can then take that Calf and sell it into the original liquidity pool at a much higher rate, thus again getting that profit. So it really is as simple as buying and selling at different prices, the same asset, the same Calf token, but through different liquidity pools will be at different rates, and you can benefit from that. And we also know that the long-term effect of this arbitrage between two liquidity pools is that eventually, and we're not quite sure how long this will take, but eventually there will be an equilibrium between the two. So in other words, those two liquidity pools will end up being the same size eventually, but the anticipated effect is also to take up longer term the price of Calf. And that's because the effect that Safuu Go, the tokenomics of Safuu Go, are designed to be incredibly deflationary. And you know, some of the predictions are incredible about the price that where Safuu Go will be going. And that, of course, being a liquidity pool with Calf, will have the upward trajectory effect, or at least that's the prediction. Of course, none of this is financial advice, but that is what, you know, the general feel is in terms of any token that is involved in a liquidity pool with Safuu Go. So you may be watching this video saying, well, that's fine, Chalk Talk, but I have no interest in getting involved in the chaos of arbitrage, because let's face it, it potentially is going to be craziness when Safuu Go is launched, but then of course when these liquidity pools are formed. So what does it mean for you? Well, it's still potentially great news, because of course, as I've just said, there will potentially be a huge upward trajectory for the price of Calf because of its involvement with Safuu Go. So in other words, even if you don't want to get involved in any of this arbitrage opportunity, if you buy and hold Calf, you could potentially be yourself in a winning trajectory. So it's still great news. And actually, we've already begun to see the effect of the anticipation even of this opportunity on the price. And if we take a quick look at the chart, you'll see that across the last 3 or 4 days, the price has really started to hike. And in fact, it rose to a high yesterday of over 7 cents, and that represents an increase of over 250% in about 3 days, which is incredible and kind of is potentially only the start of where this is going to go. And of course, this is happening because many eyes are now resting on Calf, because even people that had no interest in Calf before now, who are in Safuu Go or are looking at Safuu Go and those arbitrage opportunities, are now spreading their vision wider. And we know that Calf will now be a part of that potential arbitrage network of a number of projects that will be partnering with Safuu Go. So again, even people that until now haven't been interested in Calf are now beginning to get interested and are beginning to invest, which could be a really wise investment, because certainly currently there is no buy or sell tax involved in Calf token. So it could be a really great option for potential arbitrages. Is that even a word? Maybe I've made that up, I don't know. Those that want to arbitrage to get in and, you know, look to the next few weeks when they may be able to use Calves for those arbitrage opportunities. So again, whatever your view about arbitrage, if you are a Calves holder, I think it's pretty precise to say, not advice, but precise to say that you will see a lot more volume coming in the coming few days and weeks, and potentially incredible activity once that liquidity is formed with Safuu Go. So watch this space. Now, moving slightly onwards, you may notice I used some careful language when I was talking about the taxes there of Calves. There are no current buy or sell taxes for Calves. But yesterday on a live stream with Keith, he actually hinted that there potentially is another version of Calves coming. And we don't yet know what that's going to look like. Let's just listen to Keith in terms of what he said.
That is an interesting aspect though, because like at some point, like Calves Token is in its current form is getting outdated, right? So obviously that I've got developers working on a new token to replace what we have now. You've heard it first, that's right. And this new token will have the ability to be able to do some certain features which are unique within the space. So, you know, but there is not one single thing that's going to be ever done that's to the detriment of the token. And whoever owns any Calves now obviously gets airdropped their Calves and are paying what tax they do right now, which is 0. So, you know, like I would be taking advantage of that 100%.
So, Calves version 2, is it on the horizon? When is it coming and what will it look like? Will it have taxes? Quite possibly. But Keith was very clear. If you are a current holder of Calves or hold Calves before that change is made, you will be airdropped on a one-to-one basis the Calves tokens that you currently have. So if you buy Calves now, no taxes, you will take advantage of the no tax environment that Calves currently has. If taxes are then included, then, well, we'll have to see what happens there. But it's exciting that potentially, and Calves is evolving into something else, something bigger, something very different. But we know from Keith that always at the center of Calves, no matter what it looks like, will be that real life utility that so few projects have. You know, this project absolutely benefits animals, a farm in the real life, and that for me is so crucial. But also we know at the center of Calves is the community, which is an incredible community. It is caring, it is a wonderful community. And if you want to experience it, jump on in, come across to Calves. If you're looking at this video, you don't know what Calves is, then please do visit Discord and, you know, take part, have some discussions with us, look at the white paper, but also follow where Calves is going. And let me tell you, I do know a little bit more than I'm letting on. And there's very exciting things happening that on the horizon, potentially in the very near horizon, potentially before Safuu Go launches, who knows? But do not miss this opportunity to get into what is, as I said, currently a tiny project with a massive heart, but an absolutely huge future. Do not miss it. Oh my gosh, I nearly forgot the hat, the merch. You can get merch, Calves merch, Yes, you can get a bucket hat, but there's so many other things you can get. And this is a really great way to support Keith and the project. So take a look, I'll put a link down below. Be proud, wear your calf merch. But I'm gonna leave it there. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to my channel, then please do consider subscribing, hit that button down below. It all really helps to support me to make more videos. But also, if you particularly enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it a little like. Thank you. But for now, I am going to bid you farewell. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope to see you in my next video. But for now, cheers.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.